You know, sometimes people want to know what they can do to better their Christian walk or mature in Christ, become more disciplined. So a few years ago, I was driving my car and my radio stopped working. CD player, radio, nothing. Bluetooth wasn't working. And so I kind of delayed getting it fixed. Just didn't really have the time, didn't know the best place to go. So anyway, I found out that as I was driving in silence. I was driving in silence. And I realized I would just observe more, I would think more, I would meditate more. And as I was driving, it was as if God would allow me to see pictures of Christianity on the road, or like metaphors that I can tie into my Christian walk. And I actually now don't even play the radio really, unless maybe a passenger wants it. I don't play the radio or play music. I just kind of, driving is kind of my moment of meditation and just reflection really. And the reason I say that is I would like to challenge or encourage you to try it. Try driving in silence for a few days, a week maybe, and see if you notice anything. So I was driving and I realized two things. After a while of driving with no music or radio, I noticed two things that are hard for people to do on the road. Or let me say two laws that are hard for people to follow or abide by. One, we may probably all guess, the speed limit. And two, stopping at stop signs. And I noticed it was like I saw a parable, I saw a metaphor. Two things that people struggle with in Christianity are knowing the speed, knowing the right speed to go, and knowing when to stop. And as you may know, many people, when it comes to the speed limit, they kind of give themselves a limit. After they see the limit, they give themselves a limit. Maybe the speed limit is 60 or 40, and they kind of just bump it up. I'll go 45, I'll go 47, I'll go 43, and they give themselves, they kind of quote unquote change the law, you know. And when it comes to a stop sign, I think it's so common that it's rare that people stop. But I want to challenge you to try it. I stop at stop signs, and I actually go the speed limit. This wasn't something I always did. I used to be a speedster, a speeder, and I would do things like go 100 miles per hour in the 55. Literally, and it's so bad I took a picture. I would go over 100. I won't tell you how fast, but I would go over 100 and I would take pictures of how fast I'm going. Anyway, thank God I'm alive. But after a while, I felt convicted. There was actually a sister. It was actually my sister, actually. She would go the speed limit and obey all the laws. And you know me, I was in Christ, I was a Christian, but I just, what are you doing? And long story short, I was convicted. Her reason for doing that was really WWJD. What would Jesus do? Would Jesus roll through the stop signs? Would Jesus look at the speed limit and give himself his own speed limit? Or would he look at the speed limit and say that's the minimum that I'm gonna go? And anyway, I just after a while, I don't know how long it took, but that thought would come to mind every now and then, and I would just think I just couldn't justify Christ doing that. I mean, you think about it. When you want to get your driver's license, you try to obey all the laws. So why is it that when you do get your driver's license, you don't obey them anymore, right? Anyway, long story short, that's something that I started doing a few years ago, and that's something I actually do. And I noticed a few things. I won't make this video too long. I noticed a few things. I noticed that when you're doing the right thing, people will look at you as if you're doing the wrong thing. I don't know how many times people drove past me and looked at me like I was driving too slow. when I was actually going the speed limit. They would look at me as if I'm wrong. And I was like, wow, this is like the Christian race. You know, if you're living as a Christian and maybe you're abstaining from certain things, maybe a certain type of nightlife, maybe you're trying to keep yourself pure, and an unbeliever or someone who doesn't see things the same way you do, they hear what you say, they hear your reasoning, they see what you're not doing and what you're doing, and they look at you like you're the weird one. You're out of place, you're wrong, you need to change, when it's actually the other way around. That's one thing I saw, at least when it came to following the speed limit. And the same thing with stop signs, you know. And I think the stop sign might actually well, it depends on, I guess, what state you live in. The stop sign might be a bit harder to follow for some people. But I realized the same thing. I would stop at stop signs, and sometimes I'd get beeped at. And I wouldn't stop for 10 seconds. I wouldn't stop for 5 seconds. I just do the normal, you know, stop, wait till your car jerks back a little bit, and then you look both ways and go. But I was looked at as if I was doing the wrong thing. Anyway, as I continued doing it, I actually, my confidence or my boldness to stand for Christ would also increase. And also when I did that, when I started doing that, it was like my personality was revealed to me. When someone zooms past me, how do I feel? Do I feel urges of competition, or I'll get you, or when someone beeps at me, do I get angry at them? Do I want to, you know, retaliate or respond? Or if maybe it's one lane and I'm going the speed limit and people are behind me and I see people stacked up, do I feel the pressure? Do I feel the quote unquote peer pressure to now let go of my standard or let go of what I think is right just to make them happy? And anyway, long story short, I began to see a lot of things, and it all started with two things. My radio system going bad. I mean, now my radio works, right? Well, I have a different car now, but my radio system going bad, and my sister pretty much convicting me. The way she drove, convicting me. It would be so bad. I know if we were late somewhere, I'd say, all right, let me drive, you know? Because I knew that we're going to be going slow. But anyway, I just wanted to throw this challenge out there. Just a friendly challenge. And I don't mean to make you feel bad, but I will say this is one thing I have done a few years ago, and I've kept it up when it comes to driving. And if you maybe you're like, I'm not gonna do the law thing, I would say, hey, why not try the no music thing? Why not try driving in silence and see see where your mind goes, see where your meditation lands you, or see what you see. You know, see if God can show you things too. Alrighty, just a friendly challenge. I call it street life.
That down the fellow.